while the Israelites were camped at Gilgal on the plains of Jericho. They celebrated the Passover on the evening of the 14th day of the month, Joshua 5:10.
Under the leadership of Joshua, Hebrew YEHOSHUA, Gilgal was the name of the place that became the first campsite of the Israelites in Canaan and their headquarters for the conquest of the land. It was located 2 or 3 miles east of Jericho, near Khirbet el-Mefjir. Just as they had set up a memorial of stones on the other side of the river, they did so here as well, with each stone being too small to serve as a standalone memorial. Moses seems to have known this place. It is believed that to mark a burial place of a former system of worship, the Canaanites had previously set up a circle of carved stones near Gilgal. In response, the Israelites erected a memorial to the Lord, the God of Israel, to counter the practice of idol worship. It is intriguing to study the Hebrew word Gilgal, which means to roll away, a rolling or circle, a proper locative noun. The root is GLL, Gimel-Lamed-Lamed. Additionally, it's interesting to explore the background of the name Gilgal itself. Let us read the book of Joshua starting from chapter 1, or at least Joshua 3:1 through 5:12, which records the story of crossing the Jordan River and Israel's entrance into the land of Canaan. In the crossing of the Jordan River, Hebrew Yarden, under Joshua's leadership, Joshua 3:7, 4:14, Joshua takes on a similar role to Moses at the crossing of the Red Sea. Joshua ordered that the Israelites who were circumcised when they left Egypt be followed by their descendants, who were also to be circumcised. While in the wilderness, the Israelites were fed manna, but once they entered the land of Canaan, the manna ceased. After crossing the Jordan River, the people celebrated Passover at Gilgal, just as they celebrated Passover before leaving Egypt and crossing the Red Sea. Thus we can see here that Gilgal serves both as a reminder of God's deliverance from the bondage of Egypt in the past, and as a sign of the victory achieved in the present under God's protection through Joshua's leadership. Gilgal becomes a symbol of the removal of the reproach of slavery. It signifies God's salvation, where God the Redeemer, Goel, redeemed the people of Israel from the oppression in Egypt, marked by the Passover event. It is no coincidence that Joshua's Hebrew name, YEHOSHUA, also appears in the New Testament as the Hebrew name for Jesus Christ. Therefore, Joshua is a typology, while the antitype is Jesus Christ. Let us examine the name Golgotha, where YEHOSHUA in the New Testament removed the reproach of slavery to sin since the time of Adam. The name Golgotha, Hebrew, Golgotha, also shares the same root, Shoresh, as Gilgal, which comes from the verb GALAL, meaning to roll away, to roll over, to remove, with the root Gimel-Lamed-Lamed. Isn't that remarkable? This study of the Shoresh demonstrates an intertextual link between the Old and New Testaments. On the hill of Golgotha, Hebrew Golgotha, God, through Jesus Christ, rolled away, removed the reproach of sin, and by his work on the cross, there is reconciliation between sinful man and the holy God. Humanity, which deserved eternal death, has had that death replaced by Christ's death on Golgotha, and those who believe in him receive eternal life. John 3:16.
They came to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Matthew 27-33.
Golgotha, Greek Golgotha, is a transliteration of the Aramaic word Golgotha, meaning place of the skull. Compare it with the Hebrew word Gulgalet, which also means skull, referring to the roundness of the skull, round things that roll. Its root is also Gimel-Lamed-Lamed. Golgotha became a sign of the liberation of humanity around the world who believe in Jesus Christ. Golgotha is a real place located outside the first-century walls of Jerusalem, not far from an elite burial garden in Jerusalem. It is the name of the city where Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, became the kapara, atonement, for the sins of humanity.